You are listening to community-supported radio, KVMR FM Nevada City, KCPC Camino, and KVMR HD2 Nevada City. Today is Wednesday, January 29th. I'm Charlotte Peterson. Al Stoller spoke recently with local author Sands Hall about this weekend's Sierra Writers Conference 2020.
Sands, the topic for this year's Writers Conference is Roots and Branches. Sounds more like a gardener's conference to me. What is this about?
When we write, we have to come from somewhere. There are things that we draw from, whether ideas that are given to us by an anecdote or in our own lives to create our fiction or our memoir, our creative nonfiction or our poetry. And branches is how then we actually manifest those ideas onto the page.
There are all sorts of techniques that can actually be taught how to get what's in your head down on paper. Characterization is one that fascinates me. How do you make someone in your story real?
Some of that has to do with point of view, who's telling your story, but some of it has to do with where you find your character. What settings do we find them in? What are they doing? I mean, just sitting here in your studio with you, a lot comes out about your character, Alan, just by what's in front of us on this desk. And in terms of the fact that this is the setting in which we find ourselves. So that's very much right away how we create character. There's going to be a lot of people speaking, both on the Rockland campus on Friday and on the Sierra College campus here in Grass Valley on Saturday. And people who are interested should head to the website, Sierra Writers Conference 2020. But there's so many people speaking about various things. For instance, Kim Culbertson will be talking on Do the Math. How do we keep pressing forward when we feel stuck? And Erica Mailman will be talking about delving into the past, and Carolyn Crane will be talking about fun with genres, and I'm going to be talking about scene, summary, and reflection, these essential trio of how you create, whether you're working on memoir or fiction.
Scene, summary, and reflection. Could you elaborate on that?
Scene is essential to get a story across, of course. All stories must unfold in scene. They are what happens and drive the story forward. Summary is a way of more briefly moving story forward. But speaking of characterization, you have to have some sort of reflection of the character on circumstances. And that's true whether you're writing a memoir or you're writing a fictional story.
Reflection.
As in thinking about what's happening to him or her or them, having an actual moment to think on, wow, this huge dilemma just presented itself. I just went through this big trauma, or I just had this very interesting encounter with my parent or my sweetheart or whatever, and the character thinks a bit about how that's impacted him, her, them, and then that is a way to move the story forward with an understanding for the reader. There are many, many different ways of accomplishing this, but those three areas of scene and summary and reflection seem to go across genre.
When and where is the conference happening?
Sierra Writers Conference has expanded what it's doing considerably this year. They're doing 2 days, one on the Rockland campus, the Sierra College Rockland campus on Friday, the 31st, and one on the Sierra Nevada campus here in Grass Valley on the 1st. And registration starts at 8:15. Things begin at like 8:45 or 9, and it's just a very full day of possibilities. On Saturday, up here at the Grass Valley campus, there's also an opportunity to take part in a critique session. Published writers of every genre, from fiction to memoir to creative nonfiction to young adult and poetry, will be looking in small groups at your manuscript. So if you're interested in that, you can sign up for that. That's also available on the website of the Sierra Writers Conference.
Sands, thanks for coming in and talking with us.
My pleasure. Always, Alan.
I'm speaking with local writer Sands Hall. For KVMR, I'm Al Stoller.